Hi, welcome to Global Politics. Uh, this is all new to me, so I started recording earlier, but I guess it did not work out, so this is now a second attempt. Welcome to Global Politics. My name is Dr. John Mutlu. This is a course, it's a second year course at Acadia's Politics Department, so it's a course that serves as an introduction to international relations as a sub-discipline of political science or politics. So, welcome to the course. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Can. It's spelled Can but pronounced Can because it's a Turkish name. Because I was born in Istanbul, Turkey, and prior to moving to Wolfville, I grew up a bit in Oregon, in Portland, Oregon. I'm a Portland Trailblazers fan. Then I lived in Victoria, BC. After sort of like high school, I went to UVic for my BA and MA, and then I did my PhD in Ottawa. I play bass guitar. I love films. I love board games. I love music in general. I walk way too much. I walk like 15, 20 kilometers a day. I have a little person, that person above me. That's a 2-year-old photo, so she's now turning 5, so she's much bigger than that. I also have a puppy, so in town you might see me with my puppy. She's in the background, so if I'm talking and if you hear snoring, that's because she's sleeping. My daughter lives in Ottawa, so in a normal year when there is no pandemic, I would be going to see her every 2, 3, 4 weeks. And now I think in November I'll go see her for her birthday, but that's just sort of like a crappy part of life. My research is on security, technology, mobility. I look at border security technologies in particular. In a normal class, if this was sort of like normal and in person, I would sort of say, please stop me and ask questions when you need to, because this is pre-recorded and you can't ask questions. What I would recommend is that you write your questions down if you have them, send me an email, ask them on Microsoft Teams, put it on the forum on Acorn. Another question I would ask you is, why are you here? Or what do you hope to learn in global politics? And usually the answers are quite diverse. People sort of say, oh, the names sound really interesting. Oh, we sort of heard about you and, we heard that you're funny or whatever. There's always different kinds of answers. But essentially the underlying theme here is that people take this class because world politics resonates with things like nuclear weapons in North Korea, or Vladimir Putin and hacking the American elections, or Israel-Palestine border security, or Israel-Palestine conflict, or the Islamic State, or refugees. But it also sort of resonates with things like, trade, global trade, and hurricanes. Like I'm recording this on Monday, and there's a very good chance on Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, Hurricane Teddy is going to sort of cut through sort of the northern part of Nova Scotia. So thankfully this time we're spared. But last year this time we had Hurricane Dorian. Or coronavirus. These are not necessarily always associated with global politics, but in this class, in this term, what I would like to do is to sort of design a course around COVID-19. So I'm going to ask the question through COVID-19. So rather than saying, what is international politics? I'm going to ask, what does COVID-19 tell us about international politics? Then we're going to ask ourselves, how do we know what we know? Then we're going to ask ourselves, well, what can be done? And then finally, or sort of through these conversations, we're also going to ask about what does it all tell us about international relations, or IR theories. Normally, I would be talking about politics of international events, foreign policies, wars, material or ideational factors. So material in this case would be things like number of nuclear weapons, how much money you have, how much power you have. Or ideational factors like democracy, rule of law, liberalism, liberty, Which one shapes international politics? Or how do states find a balance between politics of security or politics of economics? What is more important, security or economic well-being? How do you find a balance? Because in a perfect world, oftentimes they can go opposed. How do you find a balance so that you feel secure, but you also feel prosperous? How do we understand the divisions and gaps in the world between the so-called East, West, North, South? Or how do we make sense of the role of ideas or culture in global politics? But that is all to say, before we get to that, I want to take a moment to sort of talk about something and talk about learning, living, and surviving during a pandemic. So 2020 changed a lot of things, and maybe we were overdue for a pandemic, or maybe we got reckless and think that globalization had no limits. But things have changed. So things that we had in February now seems like things of the past. Like I used to fly every 2-3 weeks, and I haven't been on a plane since March. So things may change again, and hopefully they will change for the better. But things always don't change for the better. Sometimes they change for the worse. And hopefully that we will be in person again and enjoy our communities without social distancing again. Because I miss giving hugs to people, for example. In the meantime, we're forced to embrace this idea of the virtual in our social lives, in our studies, in our work. Things like Zoom, Teams, etc. have become our classrooms, our kitchen parties, our meeting rooms. People's weddings have started happening on Zoom. People's, like I play Dungeons and Dragons on Zoom with my best friends. But teaching this course through pre-recorded or asynchronous lectures and in real-time synchronous tutorials is not ideal. Because I love getting to know you. I love walking around the classroom. I love building a rapport with you. But being in a classroom with 50 students during a pandemic is reckless. So it is what it is, and we will make the most of it. Okay, so this is what it is. And I understand that this is new to you. I understand that this is different, and it is different to me too. So I want to assure you that I will be kind and I will be flexible with assignment deadlines and just generally with everything. And I'm willing to offer extensions if you need them without an official medical note. It doesn't really matter. The only thing that I can't offer an extension for as an assignment in this class is the take-home final exam. And the only thing that I ask you for an extension is reach out to me before an assignment is due and talk to me. So when you're sort of, outside of this class doing things, just keep in mind of your communities, our communities, when you're socializing with others. Just be responsible. Because even though everyone says we're all in this together, not everyone has the same level of risks. Because risks are never in life equally distributed. And the virus doesn't discriminate. It does not discriminate from your best friend or your loved one. It can sort of transmit. It's not even alive, right? Like it only becomes alive when it latches onto someone. So how does the academic discipline of IR engage with and construct global politics of COVID-19? How did COVID-19 become an event in global politics? And how do we identify the impact of COVID-19 through international relations? How do we make sense of this? And how do different IR theories conceptualize key ideas in political science like colonialism, cooperation, conflict, democracy, environment, gender, power, war, etc.? This course is an introduction to international relations. We will be learning about different theories. You're going to learn them. I'm not going to go through each one right now, but you're going to learn different theories, different ways of understanding global politics. And all of these theories, just like international politics, are in a struggle for power. They're trying to make their case to be the case. It is up to you. I don't care which theory you think makes the most sense. As long as you understand how each theory works, then you can make your own decisions. You can inform yourselves of ways of understanding the world. I am not in the business of peddling different theories. I don't care. What I care is that you understand what you are subscribing to. To have a good debate, you need to understand, you need to pay attention, a little bit attention to global politics. So keep yourselves up to date. I have provided a bunch of suggestions on how you can keep yourselves up to date. You can do it any way that you want. If we go to the course syllabus, you will see that the course syllabus sort of looks like this. Well, first I'll show you what Acorn looks like. So if you go into the course Acorn, if you go on Acorn, yours will look a little different than mine, but you'll sort of see, okay, global politics is the course. And here, most of the things that you have on your syllabi will be here. You'll see the course syllabus. If you click on it, this link will pop up and then you'll get the syllabus. So we have 4 assignments in this class. Take-home midterm exam that is due on Thursday, November the 5th. I'll give you guys the questions on Tuesday, want them back on Thursday. You'll be responsible for the content leading up to the midterm. The exam will have an essay question and 5 short questions. You can't collaborate with others, but you can sort of rely on the notes and the slides and the readings, etc. In fact, you're required to. Then on December 3rd, about a month from your midterm, you have a briefing paper due that is about 2,000 words, where you take a global event and then answer these questions. I'll provide an extra handout and a grading rubric next week. It will be posted on Acorn. Then every week we have an hour-long discussion group. So the way that I have done this is because there's about 50 of you in this class, I divided the class in half. I set up 2 separate discussions during the course hours. One will meet on Tuesday mornings, one will meet on Thursday mornings. I think it's like A to a part of M is the first group, a part of M to Z is the second group based on your last names. And each week on the weekend, I will post discussion questions. So you can look at those questions, do the readings, watch the slides, and then come to sort of the course the discussion session prepared to sort of talk about it. These sessions will start next week, not this week. So we'll start our first session next week. Then take-home final exam will be the 30% of your grade. Before we go on, I should tell you about how this course works. So each week I will post a lecture like this one on Acorn. So it'll be like a lecture where I'm sort of talking. There'll be a little camera of me on the side where I'm showing you guys the slides, and then you're sort of like listening as if we're in the classroom. Then, because I didn't want this to be sort of the static of me sort of talking, you taking notes or listening, I also wanted to have a little discussion group. So we're going to have a Microsoft Teams meeting every week. Depending on which group you are, it will be either on Thursday or on Tuesday. So that's the way that this course works. This is the grade catalog. This is what it looks like. In this class, I would say that usually the class gets somewhere between a B and a C plus is the average of this class. Depending on the year, sometimes it's B. Depending on the year, sometimes C plus. Usually a B minus is probably a good place. Some people get higher, some people get lower. That's why the average is sort of in this, area. The course policies, I would recommend that you read this. It explains a bunch of things. An important thing to sort of show you perhaps right now is how the office hours works. There's a bunch of links for how this particular link on how the office hours works, but if you click on this, it takes you to a website called Calendly. And here you will see the days that I have my office hours. And let's say that you want next Wednesday. When you click next Wednesday, you will see the available times next Wednesday, and then click on a spot and then say confirm. Then you write your name, you write your email, and then you give me some information, like say, oh, I want to just meet you. And I've never met you, so I want to know, I want to introduce myself. Or say, I want to talk about my paper. Or I didn't understand this. So that I have a little sense of what this meeting is about, so I come prepared so we don't waste time. But it's also just sort of a good practice. And then you hit schedule an event. It then links you to this Dr. Mutlu office hours, Microsoft Teams, where I'll be waiting for this during my office hours, and then you can just sort of jump into the call. So that's what office hours look like during COVID. If you go down the syllabi, you'll see that each week there's a theme, there's readings. The readings are on Acorn, so you can sort of click on it and then the reading will open up. You're responsible for these readings. They are advanced readings, so they're not introductory readings, but if you read the readings and listen to the lectures and come to the tutorials, it will really make sense. Everything that we're saying will make better sense. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. Yeah, so this is what we're doing this term, the theme. It's pretty comprehensive. So we've been through assignments. Oh, my philosophy on these assignments is that I don't like surprises. I don't change deadlines. I don't change requirements. Everything is transparent. I always post a grading rubric. I always give you a sense of what I'm expecting so that you're prepared. We've been through... Yeah, the freedom of speech and classroom conduct is a statement that we have in the department. Politics is always contentious. I want everyone to feel safe and everyone to be a member, feel like they're a member, an equal member of this community. So, I can make a distinction between speech that is controversial and speech that is hateful. And at the end of the day, that I am responsible for making that distinction. So I will warn you if you're making hateful arguments, and I will perhaps sort of steer the conversation away, give you a chance to sort of have a breather. And if it happens more than once, then we're going to have a conversation. Another issue that I face in these classes is the question of plagiarism. It often sort of comes up. Don't plagiarize. It just comes down to it. At the end of the syllabi, there's a really extensive, in the syllabus, there's an extensive sort of explanation of what plagiarism and cheating is. You know what cheating is. Sometimes accidental plagiarism happens. If you have questions about plagiarism, just come and talk to me. Just sort of come to my office hours, ask me questions. I'd be more than happy to answer those questions that you might have. So if you have any questions, like I said, about any of this, just come to my office hours. They are scheduled from Tuesdays and Thursdays after this class from 10:30 to 11:30, so after discussion group, or Wednesdays from 1 to 4. You can book an appointment on that Calendly app that I just showed, and the links are everywhere around the syllabus and the course Acorn. Use your Acadia email. I will only be using your Acadia email. I don't have access to your other emails. I prefer not to get emails from really random Gmail or Hotmail or whatever free email service address that you're using that you sort of made up when you were in high school and thought really cool. I don't know, coolperson94 at hotmail.com. I don't care. I don't know who that person is. Just use your Acadia email. That's what I'm responsible for. That's what I can get in touch with you. I can use to get in touch with you. By the way, coolperson94. What the hell was that? So lame. Library services are available to you. They're going to look a little different this year because for example, in things like a book that you take out from the library, there's going to be a number of days hold on them. I think 4 or 7 days where library is just keeping that book out of circulation because they're worried that COVID can transmit from book to book or book to person. So you can have COVID touch the book and then that book infects someone. So they're being very cautious. So there's a bunch of options like ebooks and journal articles, etc. Mike Beasley is our subject librarian, so get in touch with him if you need research help. Similarly, the Writing Center is there to offer free help to all students that are looking to improve their writing skills. Writing is complicated. Writing is a skill. It gets better with time, but it's not something that often comes naturally to people. And it has nothing to do, for the most part, whether you're a native speaker or not. I am clearly not a native English speaker. English is my 6th language. So I took a long time learning how to write well in English. And I still don't know if I write really well in English, but I write better than I did before. So if you need help, get in touch with the Writing Center. In the same way, if you need help, if you need more time to, study for or write your exams or write your essays, or if you need different kinds of help and different kinds of assistance in this course or in other courses, get in touch with Accessible Learning Services. They're there to sort of create a level playing field for everyone. Another service or a resource that is available to students is counseling and counseling, really. So I personally suffer from depression. I don't see any weakness in saying that, and I don't think that you should either. There's a lot of uncertainty and anxiety in the world. So it's good to sort of get help. It's good to go to therapy. Like I go to therapy all the time. Thankfully that I have the luxury of doing that. But there's a service that is on campus that is available to you. If you feel anxious, if you feel stressed, if you feel depressed, go get help. You can come and talk to me. I can direct you to the right person, or you can directly go to counseling. I'm happy to sort of be lend an ear to you guys, but you don't have to come and talk to me if you don't feel comfortable. I'm not an expert, but what I can do is I can direct you in the right areas. Finally, we also have an equity, diversity, and inclusion officer that is there to prevent discrimination, sexual harassment, and personal harassment from occurring. So if you feel like you may have experienced this or experiencing this, you can get in touch with the email. Polly Leonard is our new officer, and they'll be more than happy to help you and guide you in the right direction. So that's all I have for this. By tomorrow, you're going to have a substantive lecture on Acorn as well. But that is all to say, welcome to Global Politics, and hopefully we'll have a great term. It will be different, but I'm really looking forward to trying this new challenge. This is not ideal. This is not my favorite. Like, I love sort of walking around the class and poking fun at myself and just sort of being sarcastic. And I do not know if this is going to show my most perfect form of teaching, but I will try my best to sort of make this engaging and fun for you, and try to, make this a curious opportunity. That's sort of like we're trying something different. When I thought that I was just settling into my career and finding a rhythm, life threw me a curve, and this is a new curve. This is a new way of teaching. So I am happy to try it. I'm really excited, actually, for the opportunity. So I hope you all have a great term. I hope you all stay healthy. I hope you all have as good of an experience as you can, given the circumstances. And you're going to see more of me. So the first tutorials are going to be next week, but this week I'll be posting a bunch of content of these kinds of substantive lectures. So not about the syllabus, but about sort of the actual course content, starting with tomorrow. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email. Otherwise, do the readings, watch the slides, and enjoy school.